Distinguished guests, esteemed members, and honored invitees, it is with great pride and profound respect that we welcome you to the centenary celebration of the Government Medical Officers Association as we mark 100 years of dedication, service, and excellence to the nation. We now invite you to rise and join in unity for the national anthem as we ceremonially commence this prestigious and historic occasion.
වෛද්‍යවරු කරන වැඩ වර්ජනේ සාධාරණයි.
මේක ගන්න ආවේ ඔකුණු කට්ටිය මෙතන මේ රටේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට ජීවත් වෙන්න බෑ. ලැබෙන වැටුප ප්‍රමාණවත් නෑ. වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට වාට්ටුවක වැඩ කරගන්න බෑ. ඖෂධ ටික නෑ.
Distinguished guests, esteemed members, and honored invitees, a very good evening and a very warm welcome to a centenary celebration of the GMOA, the Government Medical Officers Association, a century of healing a nation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We're excited and delighted to have all of you join us for this very special occasion.
රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ සියවසක ඓතිහාසික කාර්යභාරය. වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තිය, වෛද්‍ය අධ්‍යාපනයේ ප්‍රමිතිය, රෝගී සත්කාරක සේවා ගුණාත්මක භාවය රැකගන්න තමන්ගේ වගකීම පෙරදැරිව ඉදිරියට ගිය සියවසක්. ඉන් අනතුරුව ශක්තිමත් බලපෑම් සහගත වෘත්තීය සමිතියක් හැටියට රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ සියවස් සැමරුමයි මේ ආරම්භ වෙන්නේ.
With that, I would like to warmly welcome our chief guest, World Health Organization representative to Sri Lanka, Dr. Rajesh Sambajirao Pandev, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, former Secretary, Ministry of Health, former presidents of Sri Lanka, party leaders, members of the parliament and representatives of political parties, all government officials and Triforces officials, foreign delegates, president and members of the Sri Lanka Medical Council.
ඒ වගේම සියලු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලවල උපකුලපතිවරුන්, වෛද්‍ය පීඨාධිපතිවරුන්, මහාචාර්යවරුන්, ආචාර්යවරුන් සහ කතිකාචාර්යවරුන්, ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෛද්‍ය සංගමය සහ විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ විද්‍යායතන, රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ සියලු විධායක කමිටු සමාජිකයින්, භාරකරුවන්, මධ්‍යම කාරක සභාව, දිස්ත්‍රික් සහ පළාත් සම්බන්ධීකාරකවරුන්, සියලු ශාඛා සමිති නිලධාරීන් සහ සමාජිකයින්, එමෙන්ම සියලු විශේෂඥ ශ්‍රේණියේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්, සියලුම පරිපාලන ශ්‍රේණියේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්, සියලුම ශ්‍රේණි වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්, මාධ්‍ය ආයතන නියෝජිතයින් සහ සියලු වෘත්තීය සමිති නිලධාරීන් මෙන්ම වෛද්‍ය ශිෂ්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යාවන්ව ඉතා ගෞරවයෙන් මේ අවස්ථාවට අපි පිළිගන්නවා.
So ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 100 years, it is only fitting to speak a little bit about the Government Medical Officers Association. As we know, the GMOA stands as the premier professional and trade union body representing government medical officers in Sri Lanka with a proud legacy spanning a century of service, advocacy and commitment to the nation's health system. The GMOA was inaugurated on the 16th of October 1926 at a historic meeting held in Kandy, attended by 16 pioneering medical officers, and initially established as the Government Medical Officers Association in the Central Province. Its activities were confined to the Central Province, though membership was of course open to medical officers across the country. From its inception, the association sought not only to safeguard the rights, privileges and welfare of the medical officers, but also to foster unity and professional camaraderie among its members. So this is the only representation for all categories of doctors, inclusive of specialist medical officers, administrative grade officers and grade medical officers. Of course, with a strong membership of over 23,000. So today, the GMOA is a potent force with a membership exceeding 23,000, 126 branch unions function effectively. And the GMOA stands as the strongest trade union organization for Sri Lanka and South Asia, being apolitical, while standing, safeguarding and assuring for free healthcare and medical education with patient safety as well. And in the recent past, the GMOA played a decisive and principled role in the national discourse surrounding the CITEM, advocating for uniform standards in medical education, the protection of patient safety, and the preservation of the identity of Sri Lanka's state-funded medical training system. This struggle reaffirmed the GMOA's commitment to safeguarding the future of healthcare delivery here in Sri Lanka. And of course, we cannot forget the role the GMOA has played throughout the COVID pandemic, may it be the tsunami, the disasters, the Ditwa, the war, and during the drug crisis, including the human resource crisis that Sri Lanka has been facing. No matter what, the medical system has been functioning. So ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, shall we all put our hands together for the GMOA, who is celebrating 100 years today. So with that, to welcome all of you to this very special occasion, it is my absolute honor to invite Dr. Sanjeeva Tennakon, consultant neonatologist of the Castle Street Hospital for Women, the president of the Government Medical Officers Association, who has been a member since 2001 and vice president of the GMOA for the years of 2015, 19 and 2022-23, and currently serves as the president since the year 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Sanjeeva Tennakon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I warmly welcome you. I think you are given a warm welcome by a beautiful voice, therefore I don't need to repeat it again. Good afternoon, everyone. So this in reflecting on a century of resilience. From our humble beginning in 1926 to the sophisticated clinical and trade union powerhouse we are today, the GMOA has been a spine of the Sri Lankan healthcare system. As I stand before you today, I am deeply humbled to speak as a successor of many prestigious past presidents, a lineage of leadership that began with our first president, Dr. H.L. Ludovici. 100 years ago, our founders envisioned more than a union. They envisioned a guardian for the nation's health. Advocacy as a lifeblood. We have fought tirelessly to ensure that free health care is not just a slogan, but a tangible, lived reality for every citizen in this country. Frontline professionalism. Our members have served as a first line of defense during epidemics, especially in COVID, and disasters, if my mind goes back to Ditwa, like so many disasters, driven by an unlimited resolve to preserve lives of these people in our country. Integrity and balance. We have masterfully balanced the dual responsibility of protecting professional rights while ensuring that the quality of patients' care remains sacrosanct. Confronting the current landscape. As we celebrate this centenary celebrations, we must also honest about the gravity of our current challenges. We are witnessing an unprecedented brain drain, a migration which has started a few years back, a migration of our finest medical minds that threatens the very infrastructure of our own healthcare. The GMOA remains the only entity capable of bridging the gap between high-level policymaking and the raw realities of the hospital ward. We are the intellectual watchdog of this sector. Our voice is more vital today than it was a century ago because we speak for the silent patient and overworked intern up to the highly skilled specialist. We refuse to let the excellence of Sri Lankan medicine be diluted by temporary crises. So, the vision for the next century. As we look toward the next 100 years, our mission must evolve to meet a challenging world, must embrace digital transformation, integrating modern technology into our clinical practice to meet global standards while remaining accessible to all. Accessible all is very important. Then, global collaboration, ensuring Sri Lankan doctors remain leaders on the world stage, fostering partnerships that bring global expertise to our local shores, which we really benefited by for our patients and the citizens. Sustainable healthcare, advocating for a system that economically resilient, protecting the well-being of the doctors, so they may in turn provide the best care to the patient. That is our wish. In conclusion, I invite you all to reflect on immense journey we have traveled since 1926. Let the centenary celebrations be renewal of our sacred oath to our patients, to our profession, and to our unity. We stand here as heirs of giants, and we live here as architects of our future. Thank you very much. Long live GMOA. Long live GMOA.
සුති රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ සභාපති විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍ය සංජීව තෙන්නකෝන් මහතාට.
Up next, I would like to respectfully invite to speak to you on this very special occasion, Professor Vajira Dissanayake, Dean Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, to speak to us about the standards and future of medical education and medical profession. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Professor Vajira Dissanayake.
Good afternoon, everyone. Former presidents, former health ministers, chief guest, Dr. Rajesh Pandev, keynote speaker, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, president and council members of the Government Medical Officers Association, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to talk to you today at this momentous occasion of celebrating your centenary. I was requested by the President to talk on the academia and, of course, how it shaped the medical profession, which became your members. My mind goes back to the year 1870. 1870 was the year when the medical education in this country was formally established. In 1995, the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Colombo, where medical education was established, celebrated its 125th anniversary. And in the year 2020, we celebrated our 150th anniversary. One of the longest standing medical schools, if I may use that word instead of faculty, in the Asia Pacific region. The medical professionals that were required for the country were produced by the Colombo Medical School, which I have the privilege of being its dean. In the year 1925, the formal regulation of doctors began with the establishment of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, the Ceylon Medical Council at that time. And we were one of the first countries in this region to have such a regulatory body, speaking volumes for the high standards that we maintained from that era. In the year 1887, the doctors who were passing out of our medical school, as well as others who have trained abroad and come to Sri Lanka and were working, established the British branch of the Ceylon branch of the British Medical Association in Colombo, which is now the Sri Lanka Medical Association. The Sri Lanka Medical Association celebrated its 125th anniversary in the year 2012. The profession, which started organizing itself as the Ceylon branch of the British Medical Association, dealt with both the professional issues as well as the trade union issues at that time. taking a cue from its mother organization, the British Medical Association, which to date deals with both the professional issues and the trade union issues of doctors in the United Kingdom. However, I guess with the establishment of the Sri Lanka Medical Council in the year 1925 and the plethora of issues that come up with tough regulation of the profession, the time for branching off probably came into being, and that resulted in the seeds for what is today the Government Medical Association being sown at that time, as we heard in the initial announcements in the year 1926. And today we celebrate what has now become a giant organization, the Government Medical Officers Association. Now you may wonder why I mentioned all those milestone celebrations. I mentioned them as I may be the only one in this audience, I know I'm the only one in this audience, who had the privilege of talking on stage at every one of those celebrations starting in the year 1995. As a medical student in the 125th anniversary of our medical school, as Dean of the Medical School in the year 2020, as President of the SLMA in the year 2012, and leading the Sri Lanka Medical Council in the year 2025. And today, at your own celebration, although I am not a member of your association. So it's indeed a special day for me, and I'd like to thank the President and the Council for having invited me to talk to you. The seeds of the medical profession that we planted all those years ago are held in high esteem. And I'm only going to give you one example of why I say that. Although our chief guest and Dr. Mahipala and others who have worked internationally bear testimony to the high esteem in which our profession, the health services, are held around the world. In the year 2018, myself and Dr. Rajit Senaratna, who is seated here in front, we had the opportunity, sir, you may remember, to be at the Commonwealth Health Ministers meeting in Geneva. The keynote speaker at that meeting was Grace Michel, the Mozambican politician who was the second wife of Nelson Mandela. In her keynote speech, she mentioned no more than 5 times the name of Sri Lanka, and repeated that every time she said the name of our country, why can't the rest of the developing world be like Sri Lanka? That is the high esteem in which what our predecessors have created, the health services our predecessors created for this country, is held around the world, and we don't need any other endorsement of that, and the health indicators themselves speak for it. That also speaks volumes for the academia, the medical academia of our country, that has produced the finest medical practitioners that a country could aspire to. And they are your members. Those members of your association, past and present, have shaped the healthcare services of our country and the medical profession of our country. And we must recognize that when we celebrate a day like today. The President talked of the challenges. I would like to make this an occasion to talk and plea and make a plea for the medical students of our medical faculties who are graduating in the coming decade. We all acknowledge the brain drain, but now we are producing more doctors than ever before. From next year, we'll be producing 2,500 doctors per year. Currently, we have 25,000 doctors in the system, roughly. 2,500 per year in the next 5 years will be 12,500. We have the challenge of ensuring that they undergo internship training without delay. We have the challenge of ensuring that the investment that we made on them, the investment coming from the taxpayers' money of this country, is used for the benefit of the people of this country and not for British, Australian, and New Zealand citizens. And that challenge is before us. This morning, I was the part of an international roundtable of leaders in academia from around the Asia-Pacific region, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines. Everyone is facing this challenge of healthcare migration, health workforce migration, and what can you do to retain them? And we addressed that issue. And I made the submission that it is not just an issue of rupees and cents or dollars and cents, but it is a complex socio-cultural issue that we need to deal with by showing our younger generation the light at the end of the tunnel. And we need to do that. What makes people leave is if they have no hope for the future. We need to make sure that our younger generation, the doctors coming out of medical schools, see a hope for their future. And that requires the combined effort of all of us here today, cutting across all strata of society. The President also mentioned the challenges that we face in terms of integrating technology into our health sector. The digitalization, artificial intelligence, and so on. And some of you here who are in this audience today know that in 2008, the academia of this country, under my leadership, took the initiative of establishing the first ever biomedical and health informatics program in any part of the developing world. And today, as a result of that, we have the best biomedical and health informatics workforce in the country. We are one of the few countries in the world that have a digital health blueprint and the tools that can completely digitalize our systems. Dr. Palitha Mahipala was the DG at that time. You might remember, sir, the steps that we took to make that happen. We are, in that sense, a forward-looking profession, a forward-looking nation. We have the tools, we have the human capital to take us to a different level, and we should all do that. We should all strive to do that. Last week, we launched the AI policy for the university sector of our country, and we believe that it will be formally adopted in the next month. And when that happens, our universities would undergo a complete AI transformation. I had the opportunity to give leadership to the governance aspects of that policy. And the few of us who are involved in that are very, very committed to make sure that we will deliver. And we need your help in that. We need the support of all the doctors, because you are our extended faculty when it comes to medical schools. You are the ones who are training our doctors, our young and up-and-coming doctors, the medical students in your hospitals, and we need you to be a part of that as well. Now, whatever we do this with the patients at the center. And the president of your association, as well as other council members, would know, and the former minister, Ramesh Patirana, would also know, that in the year 2024-25 period, we took the steps, in the year 2023 and 24 period, we took the steps on developing a charter for patient safety and well-being, because we want to deploy our health services for the benefit of our patients. Patients are at our heart, center of whatever we do, everything that we do. That charter was tabled in Parliament and approved. And all strata of the medical profession, whatever association we belong to or regulatory organization we belong to, as well as civil society, took part in it together with the Ministry of Health. And we are one of those few countries which have a charter like that. That itself shows that all of us, whatever hat we may wear in our professional life, whatever role that we may play in academia, profession, professional association, trade unions, whatever, we are committed to one cause, that is for the health and well-being of the future of the citizens of our country, because the future of our country is absolutely dependent on the health and well-being of our citizens. With those words, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank once again the President and the Council of the Government Medical Association for this invitation to speak to you today on behalf of the academia. As I said, I consider a singular honor bestowed upon me for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. And Sanjeeva, it helped me cover the circle, as it were, of all the celebratory events that I may have had the opportunity of speaking during my professional life. So thank you very much, and all the very best for your association in the years to come. Thank you.
සුතේ කොළඹ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ වෛද්‍ය පීඨයේ පීඨාධිපති වජිර දිසානායක මහාචාර්යතුමාට වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තියේ අනාගතය වගකීම් ඒ ආදී කාරණා පිළිබඳව වෘත්තිකයින් සහ ඒ පිළිබඳ උනන්දුවක් දක්වන සියලු පාර්ශව දැනුවත් කළාට. දයක් සුවපත් කළ සියවසක්. 1926 අවුරුද්දේ නුවරදී වෛද්‍යවරුන් 16 දෙනෙක් රැස් වෙලා ආරම්භ කරපු රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය මේ දැන් අපේ ඉන්න 2026 අවුරුද්ද වෙනකොට අවුරුදු 100ක් ගෙවිලා 23000කට වැඩි වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ සමාජිකත්වයේ සහිත ප්‍රබල බලපෑම් සහගත රටේ වෘත්තීය සමිතියක් බවට පත් වෙලා. මේ කාල සීමාව ඇතුලේ විවිධ අනපනත් වෙනස් වීම් වලට විවිධ ව්‍යවස්ථාමය වෙනස් වීම් වලට මුහුණ දෙමින් ඇතැම් වෙලාවට සිවිල් යුද්ධ, තවත් වෙලාවකට ආපදා, තවත් වෙලාවකට ස්වභාවික ව්‍යසන, ඒ වගේම වෘත්තියේ අඩුලුහුඩුකම් මගහරවා ගන්න ඒ වෙනුවෙන් මැදිහත් වෙන්න ගත් උත්සාහයන් මේ සියල්ල පසු කරමින් සියවසක් පැමිණෙද්දී ඒ ඉතිහාසය කැටිකොට බලන්න දකින්න අපි දැන් සූදානම් වෙන්නේ.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we are here to celebrate 100 years of the GMOA, up next we have a video that will take you through this history and the amazing things that this association has been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the history of the GMOA.
The Government Medical Officers Association, GMOA, Sri Lanka celebrates a remarkable century of service in 2026. Inaugurated on 16th October 1926 in Kandy, with 16 medical officers in the Central Province, GMOA has evolved into one of the most powerful and influential trade unions and professional associations in South Asia, representing more than 22,000 government doctors across 130 branch unions. Over 100 years, GMOA has navigated colonial rule, independence, constitutional transitions, civil war, natural disasters, and global pandemics while maintaining its core mission to safeguard the rights and privileges of government medical officers and to optimize healthcare delivery to the people of Sri Lanka. From winning the island's first salary allowance for doctors through a prime ministerial intervention in 1956, implementing national wage policy in 2006, establishing minimum standards of medical education in 2018, to frontline advocacy during COVID-19 pandemic, GMOA has been a formidable force in shaping Sri Lanka's healthcare landscape. Let us reflect on GMOA's founding history and the milestones that have defined its first 100 years. GMOA was inaugurated on 16th October 1926 in Kandy with 16 medical officers. Sri Lanka, then Ceylon, was under British colonial rule, and the medical services operated under the colonial government. The formation of a professional association to advocate for the rights of government doctors in that environment was a courageous and visionary act. The inaugural meeting was presided over by Dr. H. Ludovici, the first president of the association, with Dr. S. L. Navaratnam and Dr. I. A. Centenary as joint secretaries. The agenda reflected concerns about salaries, housing and quarters and allowances, issues that would continue to occupy the association for the entirety of its first century. Initially named the Government Medical Officers Association, Central Province, the association significantly broadened its scope and renamed itself the Government Medical Officers Association of Ceylon in 1927, affirming its ambition to represent doctors across the island. The first annual dinner was held on 10 December 1927, marking a milestone in the association's social and professional life. A revival of GMOA after the Second World War was led by Dr. E.M. Wydrama, reinvigorating the association's structure and membership. On 18 July 1949, a watershed date in GMOA's history, the association was registered as a trade union under the Trade Unions Ordinance. This formal recognition as a trade union gave GMOA significant legal standing and institutional power. In 1956, under the presidency of Dr. Frank Fernando, GMOA mounted its first major challenge to the Sri Lankan government. A protracted tussle over medical officers' allowances reached the highest levels of government, with Prime Minister Honorable S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike making a personal appearance at a GMOA meeting and announcing a new allowance for all medical officers. This established the GMOA's capacity to compel executive action and demonstrated the political impact the association could bring to bear. Through the 1960s and 70s, GMOA grew into a recognized watchdog, monitoring appointments, transfers, and the awarding of scholarships for further medical training, ensuring transparency and merit-based systems. After 37 years of persistent advocacy, GMOA succeeded in winning paying ward facilities for government doctors in 1974. This demonstrated the willingness to pursue member welfare goals across generations of leadership. GMOA always used its institutional weight to protect individual members' rights, demonstrating that the association's commitment extended beyond collective bargaining to the personal protection of its members. By the 1980s, GMOA had established itself as a truly national institution with a network of branch unions across all provinces and districts. Over 130 branch unions provide local organizational infrastructure while coordinating with the General Committee and the Executive Committee, ensuring democratic process, enabling rapid mobilization for trade union action, and effective representation of doctors in remote health institutions. GMOA took a keen interest in the development of postgraduate medical education in Sri Lanka to provide better opportunities for member doctors and better health care for our citizens. Safeguarding of all island services for doctors was achieved in 1999, ensuring equitable distribution of doctors across the entire country. Establishment of national wage policy in 2006 for the government sector, minimizing salary-based trade union actions, and creating a fair and rational wage structure with doctors in the top senior level SL tier was pioneered by GMOA. GMOA won a 100% increase in basic salary for government doctors in 2016, based on the national wage policy after a unique campaign, gathering the support of all government services. GMOA launched an exclusive car pass scheme for doctors in 2013 to facilitate their movement to and from hospitals, reflecting the attention to day-to-day member welfare. A major chapter in the GMOA's modern history was its sustained opposition to the establishment of substandard private medical colleges in Sri Lanka. The association raised legitimate quality concerns about the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine, SAITM, since it lacked proper accreditation from the Sri Lanka Medical Council, SLMC, with dubious clinical training standards. This position involved prolonged public debate, legal proceedings, and trade union action, ultimately resulting in suspension of new admissions and closure of SAITM. GMOA was a key advocate for establishing and legalizing minimum standards of medical education, which was achieved in 2018 through a parliamentary act. One of the GMOA's most celebrated and enduring contributions to Sri Lankan healthcare is the Good Intern Program, initiated in 2013 in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and academic medical colleges. It is unique among lower middle-income countries in the scale and structure of its approach, recognizing that communication skills are essential for patient safety and doctor-patient relationships. GMOA established a comprehensive communication skills program in collaboration with the Family Health Bureau. Sri Lanka's trilingual healthcare environment necessitates doctors to communicate effectively in all 3 languages. GMOA responded by creating a dedicated Sinhala and Tamil language training programs in collaboration with the National Institute of Language Education and Training. When COVID-19 reached Sri Lanka in early 2020, GMOA played a prominent role in advocating for scientific containment measures, supporting Sri Lanka's early hammer and dance strategy and robust test trace isolate TTI protocols. This contributed to Sri Lanka's early success in controlling community transmission, saving lives, and earning the goodwill of the people. During the economic crisis in 2021-2022, GMOA raised alarm about a significant wave of doctor emigration, which was primarily driven by economic factors and deteriorating working conditions. And GMOA strongly and scientifically advocated for improved remuneration and working conditions for doctors in the public health system. GMOA was instrumental in forming the Professionals Trade Union Alliance, PTUA, the largest gathering ever of professionals trade unions, to act against excessive and unfair taxation of professionals. The legacy of 100 years lives on, as GMOA proudly moves into the second century as one united and formidable force.
නොදකපු අතීතයයි දැකපු වර්තමානයයි එක්ක අවුරුදු 100ක් ඇතුලේ රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය විවිධ අවස්ථාවල මැදිහත් වීම සිදු කළ ආකාරය අපි පුළුල් තිරයක රූප මතක එක්ක දැක්කේ.
Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it is with profound respect I introduce to you our keynote speaker for the day, and that is Dr. Palitha Mahipala. Speaking of his academic profile, he has completed his MBBS from the University of Peradeniya in the year 1983, and in 1995 MSc in Community Medicine, and in 2006 he achieved his Doctor of Medicine of Medical Administration from the Postgraduate Institute of Sri Lanka, University of Colombo, and he has served as the Secretary to the Ministry of Health of Sri Lanka from November 2023 to November 2024, and he is also a World Health Organization representative, head of mission in Pakistan from 2019 April to 2023 November. He has also served as a coordinator of the non-communicable diseases and environmental health of the World Health Organization Southeast Asia region from the 15th of December 2016 up to date, and he was also the Director General of Health Services from the 6th of December 2012 to the 2nd of January 2017.
හොඳයි විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍ය පාලිත මහිපාල මහතාට අපි ආරාධනා කරනවා ඔබ අමතන්න විශේෂයෙන්ම අභියෝගාත්මක කාලයක සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්වරයාව හිඳිමින් ජාත්‍යන්තරවත් පිළිගැනීමක් තිබුණු අවස්ථාවක ඒ සියල්ලත් පස්සේ කළා තමන්ගේ වගකීම වගවීමෙන් ඉටු කළ හිටපු සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම්වරයෙක් හැටියටයි එතුමන්ව හඳුනාගන්නේ. අපි ආරාධනා කරනවා ඔබට කතා කරන්න.
Thank you so much for the kind words of introduction. Good afternoon to everybody. The chief guest of today's function, the World Health Organization country representative to Sri Lanka, the Honorable Former Presidents, the former ministers, former ministers of health, honorable parliamentarians, the President, Secretary, and Executive Committee members of the Government Medical Officers Association, most distinguished, most esteemed, and most respected invitees, colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. Pope Francis said, and I quote, "Trade unions have been an essential force for social change without which a semblance of a decent and humane society is impossible under capitalism." It is my incredible honor, absolute pleasure, extreme privilege, and extraordinary obligation as a medical professional to share some of my views, thoughts, experience, and sentiments about the remarkable journey of a distinguished trade union as well as a professional body at this august gathering today. I am delighted to see an exceptional cross-section of the learned society in Sri Lanka is among this distinguished gathering to celebrate a historic movement of the GMOA and a greater and remarkable journey in completing a 100-year milestone. Ladies and gentlemen, when I go deep into the historical journey of GMOA and critically analyze the rises and falls, particularly in times putting our social fabric to the test by all-island trade union actions, time and again I am reminded of a preface of a novel written by famous author Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, which establish extreme contradictions reflecting the French Revolution. I quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us." This truly reflects the journey of GMOA, where sometimes it was full of hope and success, but sometimes it was despair and failure. Yet, the Government Medical Officers Association has risen through all these difficult times, articulating clear demands and inspiring the membership through solidarity, dignity, and collective actions. Martin Luther King said, "The labor movement was the principal force that transformed misery and despair into hope and progress." As I see, great trade unions are nothing without numbers. Strength is numbers, power is unity, dialogue is a tool, particularly social dialogue, and never step aside when the demands are under attack. All this is absolutely true for the GMOA. My numbers are a little wrong. It has now, I said 16,000 members, but it is 23,000 members with the 130 branch unions. Strong unity among them, a common approach through dialogue, and fighting until the demands are met. Therefore, I truly believe GMOA is a model trade union for others to follow. Philip Randolph, an American trade union leader, said, "The essence of trade unionism is social uplift. The labor movement has been the heaven for the dispossessed, the despised, the neglected, the downtrodden, and the poor." A civil rights activist, Samuel Gompers, said, "Where trade unions are firmly organized, there are the rights of the people most respected." As I believe, all this highlights that trade unions play a pivotal role in social development, economic stability, and also ensure justice in any country. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, trade unions organized in the 18th century in the United Kingdom as a response to industrialization to fight against low wages, long working hours, and unsafe working conditions. Legal recognition started in the mid-19th century. The International Trade Union Federation was established in 1913, and the ILO was founded in 1919. The doctors' trade unions have evolved from early 20th century. You have witnessed the excellent video prepared by the GMOA. 20th century professional associations into powerful bargaining entities fighting for the better working conditions, wages and healthcare funding. The first doctors' trade union was founded in 1926 in Sri Lanka. The Government Medical Officers Association, your organization. United States Doctors Union began in 1934 to address low wages and long working hours. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in the global context, GMO shed the light and given the leadership for other countries not only to fight for the benefits of doctors, but also for the development of healthcare for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of Sri Lanka labor movement is a remarkable journey shaped over decades by unparalleled sacrifices in the pursuit of rights, justice, and dignity. Beginning with the printers' strike in 1893, the working people emerged as an organized force. The railway workers' strike in 1923 and the public workers' strike in 1947 reaffirmed the impact created by the workforce in driving the country's social, economic, and legal transformation to ensure labor rights which we benefit from today. The doctors' strike organized by the GMOA in 1964 brought a new dimension to trade unionism in the post-independent era in Sri Lanka. This is the first doctors' strike in the entire world to fight for the rights by doctors while focusing patient safety. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. E. Gunasinghe, well known as the father of the trade unionism in Sri Lanka, organized the first trade union in Sri Lanka in 1922 with an initial membership of 25. In 1928, he was instrumental in forming the All Ceylon Labour Congress, an amalgamation of several unions. Also under Mr. E. Gunasinghe, the first Labour Day, or we call May Day, was held in 1927 for the first time in Sri Lanka. Later, many trade unions affiliated with political parties and took significant involvement in the 1953 Hastal. The trade unions were given legal recognition in 1935 by Trade Union Ordinance number 14 and subsequently the Industrial Dispute Act and also the Constitution of Sri Lanka ensuring freedom of association. The most important fact I would like to mention here is that the GMOA carries forward its inherited and symbolic nature of apolitical trade unionism until today. This is remarkable and extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, the GMOA was inaugurated in 16th October 1926 in the Central Province with 16 medical officers under the leadership of Dr. H. Ludovici, with a view to safeguard the rights and interests of medical officers. Initially functioning as a social club, but later it evolved to 23,000 members. Apologies for the figures here, with 130 branch unions. A powerful trade union that not only fought for the rights of doctors, but also has powerful influence on health policy and health sector development in Sri Lanka. On 18th July 1949, under the presidency of Dr. Vijayarama, GMOA got the registration as a trade union, assigned number 291. In 1956, GMOA under the leadership of Dr. Frank Fernando posed a challenge to increase salaries, and Mr. S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike, the Honorable Prime Minister then, made a personal appearance at a GMOA meeting to announce new allowances for medical officers. Since then, GMOA has concluded many trade union actions successfully, but most importantly, it has influenced governments and ministries of health in the advancement of healthcare delivery across the country. while looking after patients' wellness through constant dialogue. Always it is great to focus patients as top priority by the trade unions, and GMOA has done it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me draw your attention to a few such excellent pieces of work. Already much have been spelled out during the last video by GMOA in the country. Advocacy role with political leadership, former funding. We have former presidents here, we have former health ministers here. They are fully aware that how much of dialogue we had with the GMOA to increase funding from the national budget to improve the health services in Sri Lanka. Initiation of postgraduate training in Sri Lanka and supporting the establishment of Postgraduate Institute of Medicine in Sri Lanka. And also excellent support extended in health sector reforms in Sri Lanka. Establishment of good intern program. Thousands of intern medical officers were much benefited by this. Collaborated with Ministry of Education to start language proficiency program and extended unparalleled support for continuous professional development. And so many I have to note down here, but I don't want to tell it because I am taking too much of time. Distinguished invitees, the honorable ministers, former presidents, colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. My experience as Additional Secretary Health, the Director General of Health Services, and Secretary Health with GMOA was mostly sincere, collaborative, and extremely positive for health sector development in Sri Lanka. Over the years, the GMOA played a very catalytic role in many health reforms. The impact created by the GMOA in advocacy with political leadership for health sector advancement was outstanding, remarkable, and unparalleled. As the GMOA completes its 100-year milestone, I wish them all the success and extend my blessings to continue its role to serve our motherland and our people. I stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, for your very informative presentation this evening.
හොඳයි අපි රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ තේමා ගීතය අහන්න බලන්න සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. මේ තේමා ගීතය රචනා කළේ ආචාර්ය රත්නශ්‍රී විජේසිංහන්, තේමා ගීතය සංගීතවත් කළේ ආචාර්ය රෝහණ වීරසිංහන්.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you our GMOA's Centenary official theme song.
පතකා මිනිසක් කම උදෙසා කළ මෙහෙයෙන් ආතුර සිත සැනසේ යන්නෙමු පෙරටම ඔබියව නොබැදී ඉන්ද්‍රකීලයක් වී නොසැලෙනසේ සිය පත පෙති සියයෙන් සපිරෙනසේ සිය වස සපුරන සිරිරක් නිරනේ රජයේ දෙදදුරු සංගමයේ නිල යශෝ ගීතයයි ගාව නැගෙන්නේ රජයේ දෙදදුරු සංගමයේ නිල යශෝ ගීතයයි ගාව නැගෙන්නේ
අවුරුදු 100 වෙනුවෙන් විශේෂ වැඩකට සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. ඒ අතරේ තේමා ගීතය පිළිබඳව අපි මතක් කරමු. ආචාර්ය රත්නශ්‍රී විජේසිංහන් පද රචනා කරපු, ආචාර්ය රෝහණ වීරසිංහ සංගීතවත් කරපු, ගායනා කළේ වෛද්‍ය රන්දුර කල්දේරා, වෛද්‍ය සනුජ රවිශංක, වෛද්‍ය චාපා ජයරුක්, වෛද්‍ය ලලන්ත කරුණාරත්න, වෛද්‍ය රිද්මිලියනගේ සහ වෛද්‍ය ශකිලා විමල සූරිය. ඔවුන්ගේ දායකත්වයෙන් තමයි තේමා ගීතය නිර්මාණය වුණේ.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, with that, today, as you know, GMOA celebrates 100 years. And signifying this very occasion, today we will be officially launching the anniversary stamp for the GMOA.
ඔව්. අමතක නොවන සිහිවටනයක් එක්ක මතක හිටින්නම සියවස සමරන්න සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ අවුරුදු 100 වෙනුවෙන් මුද්දරයක් නිකුත් කරන්න සූදානම්. ඒ සඳහා වේදිකාව සූදානම් වෙන්නේ.
To do the honors, I would like to initially invite the Postal Department representatives to the launch of the stamp. I would like to respectfully invite Mr. L.G.N. Silva, Director of the Philatelic Bureau, along with Mr. C.N. Munasinghe, Senior Publicity Officer of the Philatelic Bureau. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we invite representatives from our Postal Department. Up next, I would like to invite our honorable guests for the launch. I would like to invite Dr. Rajesh Samaji Rao, Panta of the World Health Organization representative to Sri Lanka, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, former Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Anil Jasinghe, Secretary to the Minister of Health, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Sanjeeva Tennakon, President of the GMOA, Dr. Prabhat Sugadadasa, General Secretary, GMOA, Professor Jayantha Jayawardena, President of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, Dr. Manilka Subnathilaka, President, Sri Lanka Medical Association, Dr. Harsha Sachisthrandra, Senior Consultant Physician of the NHSL and Trustee of the GMOA, Dr. Maitri Chandraratna, Chairman of the Election Committee of the GMOA, Mr. Jayantha Galleheva, the President of the Organization of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka, and Professor S. Yasavardhana, Director, Postgraduate Institute of Medicine. Along with that, I would also like to respectfully invite Dr. Chamil Vijayasinghe to coordinate the process.
රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ සියවස් සැමරුම වෙනුවෙන් අද ඉඳලා නිල වශයෙන් භාවිතා කරන්න මුද්දරයක් නිකුත් වෙනවා. අපි දන්නවා එක අතකින් මුද්දර එකතු කිරීම විනෝදාංශයක්, තව පැත්තකින් මුද්දරය කියන්නේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක්. ඒ අවශ්‍යතාවයට මුද්දරය නිර්මාණය වෙද්දී වටිනාකම් සහිත දේවල් තමයි මුද්දරයකට එකතු වෙන්නේ. රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය සියවසක් තිස්සේ තමන්ගේ වෘත්තියට වගේම වෘත්තීය වටපිටාවට වටිනාකම් එකතු කිරීමත් හේතු කරගෙන මේ සැමරුමක් සහිත සියවස් සැමරුමේදී අපි තැපැල් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ වගේම රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේත් සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් එමනම් මුද්දරය නිකුත් කරන්න සූදානම්. තැපැල් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේත් මුද්දර කාර්යාංශයේත් මුද්දර නිකුත් කිරීමේ පටිපාටය අනුව ක්‍රමවේදය අනුව දැන් එහෙමනම් නිල වශයෙන් ඒ කටයුත්ත වේදිකාව මත සිදුවනවා. ඉන් අනතුරුව තැපැල් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයට සභාපතිතුමාට ඉන් අනතුරුව ලේකම්තුමාටත් සමරෝ මුද්දරය ලබා දීමෙන් අනතුරුව දැන් සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන් වෙනුවෙනුත් නිකුත් කළ වළංගු මුද්දරය පිළිගන්වන මොහොත. දයක් සුවපත් කළ සියවසක් රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය 1926 2026 100ක් අවුරුදුම. ගෙවුණු අවුරුදු 100දී වගේම මෑත වර්තමානයේත් මතක හිටින මතක ඉතුරු කරපු රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයට තවත් මතක හිටින මතකයක් මුද්දරයක් ලෙසින් අද නිල වශයෙන් නිකුත් වුණේ.
And thank you very much to our ladies and gentlemen for joining us. However, for the rest of the proceedings, I would like to kindly request Dr. Raja Sambajirao, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, Dr. Sanjeeva Tennakon, Dr. Prabhat Sukdatasa, along with Dr. Chamil Vijayasinghe to kindly remain on stage. So ladies and gentlemen, we just launched our stamp, but that's not it. Today, as we celebrate 100 years, we also have the pleasure of revamping our website, which is the GMOA.lk official website. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our gentlemen to do the honors of the official opening of our web relaunch. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as our gentlemen officially relaunch the GMOA.lk website.
GMOA.lk වෙබ් අඩවිය මෙතුවක් කල් ඔබ භාවිතා කළා. නමුත් යාවත් කාලීන කරපු අලුත් කරපු නව කාලයට ගැලපෙන අලුත් කාලේ යාවත් කිරීම එක්ක GMOA.lk වෙබ් අඩවිය යලිත් ජනගත වෙනවා අලුත් මුහුණුවරකින්. සංගමය පිළිබඳව විශේෂ අවස්ථා පිළිබඳව සුබ සාධනය පිළිබඳව එකී නොකී සියලු දැනුවත් කිරීම කතා කළ යුතු කාරණා සියල්ලම ඇතුළත් කරමින් නවතාවයෙන් යාවත් කාලීන කළ වෙබ් අඩවිය අද ඉඳලා ආයෙත් අලුත් මුහුණුවරින් ඔබට භාවිතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. GMOA.lk.
So, Manoj, that's not it. So today, as we know, everything is getting digitalized, and it is only fitting that we digitize this very important process as well. So up next today, we will also be launching a official GMOA mobile app. So this is happening for the first time in the history where we launch an app for the GMOA to digitalize in the world of digitalization. This is where the GMOA as well takes another step forward. So I would like to invite a gentleman to do the honors of officially launching our GMOA mobile app.
ඒ අනුව මොබයිල් ඇප් එකක් විදිහට GMOA ඇප් එක මෙතෙන් සිට ඔබට ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඇප් ස්ටෝර් එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඔබ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඇප් එකක් ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන ආකාරයටම GMOA ඇප් එක ඔබට ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
So as you know, this makes obviously things easy. At your fingertips, you can get anything done. No queues, nothing. Just an app, everything digitalized right on your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the GMOA officially, the mobile app has been officially launched. So put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for this very special occasion.
කියන තැන තැන නොසිටිල්ලා
එපා කියන තැන තැන නොසිටිල්ලා අපසු නම් සෙවනීද පල්ලා
විපාසනම් පියවර පිපල්ලා අපා ගොයම් කඩිනම් කරපල්ලා අපා ගොයම් කඩිනම් කරපල්ලා අපා ගොයම් කඩිනම් කරපල්ලා
වටින වේලාවයි
දහම් වඩින වේලාවයි
සඟුන් වටින වේලාවයි ඉරි දිරෙන වේලාවයි බුද්ධං සරණේ ධම්මං සරණේ සංඝං සරණේ
සේවස් සැමරුමේ අවසන් භාගයට අපි පැමිණෙමින් ඉන්නේ. දයක් සුවපත් කළ සියවසක් තේමාවෙන් රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය Tamanගේ සියවස සමරන්නේ. අපි රොෂෙල් නිල වශයෙන් භාවිතයට එක් කළ සියවස් සමරු මුද්දරය සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන් වෙත පිළිගන්වන්න මෙය අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්නවා. ඒ අනුව අද අපි දකිනවා රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ ආරාධනයෙන් සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන් රැසක් මේ අවස්ථාවට එක්ව සිටිනවා. අපේ රටේ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිවරුන්, හිටපු සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරුන්, දේශපාලන නියෝජිතයින්, වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තිකයින්, ක්ෂේත්‍රයේ ප්‍රවීණයින්, අධ්‍යාපනඥයින් ඇතුළු සියවස් සැමරුම වෙනුවෙන් ආරාධනා ලැබූ බොහෝ පිරිසක් මේ අවස්ථාවේ රැඳෙනවා. ඔවුන් වෙනුවෙන් අද භාවිතයට එක් කළ රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ සියවස් සමරු මුද්දරය නිල වශයෙන් රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ නිලධාරීන් විසින් පිළිගන්වන මොහොත.
And as we conclude the distribution of our stamps, I would like to respectfully invite yet another very special individual in this whole sphere, in this whole field, and that is none other than Dr. Prabhat Sugadadasa, the General Secretary of the Government Medical Officers Association. He has been a member since 2007 and a General Committee member from the years 2016 to 2022 and the Assistant Secretary of the GMOA from the years 2022 to 2024 and Secretary of the GMOA since 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Prabhat Sugadadasa.
Good evening. Today my topic is the role of the GMOA in the health system of Sri Lanka. Distinguished guests, and respected senior colleagues and dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is both a privilege and a proud moment to stand before you today as we celebrate 100 years of the Government Medical Officers Association, a century of service, sacrifice, advocacy, and commitment to the membership as well as for the people of Sri Lanka. 100 years is not merely a milestone in time. It is a proof to resilience. It is the story of generations of doctors who believed that healthcare is not simply a profession, but a public trust. Today, as we reflect on the role of the GMOA in the free health system of Sri Lanka, we are in fact reflecting on the evolution of Sri Lankan's health service itself. Because for nearly a century, the history of GMOA and the history of the national health system have been walking hand in hand. From the earliest days of the organized medical service in Sri Lanka, then Ceylon doctors work in difficult conditions, often with limited resources, carried health care to every corner of the island. GMOA emerged as a collective voice for those doctors and also as a voice for protecting and strengthening of the free health system. Throughout the history, GMOA has played numerous critical roles within the Sri Lanka health system. First and foremost, GMOA has been a guardian for free health system in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka health indicators have long been admired internationally. Despite being a developing nation with limited resources, our country achieved remarkable outcomes in maternal health, child survival, immunization coverage, and life expectancy. These achievements were not accidental. They were built upon the foundation of an accessible and equitable healthcare system and the dedicated service of doctors and other health staff. The GMO has consistently advocated for the preservation of this system. At crucial moments in the history, GMO stood firmly against policies that threaten free healthcare system in many forms and equity in healthcare access. This steadfast policy of GMOA constantly reminds policymakers that healthcare cannot become a privilege available only to those who can afford it. The second major role of the GMOA has been advocacy for healthcare professionals. A strong health system cannot exist without motivated and protected healthcare workers. For decades, the GMOA has worked to improve working conditions, training opportunities, professional dignity, remunerations, and welfare of medical officers across the country. Whether serving in tertiary hospitals in Colombo or remote rural institutions with minimum facilities, doctors deserve safety, fair working conditions, and opportunities for professional growth. Advocacy in these areas is not merely a trade union activity that benefits the membership. It directly influences the quality of patient care. When doctors were overworked, unsupported, or unsafe, developing human resource for healthcare workers. During one of the most challenging periods in recent history, Sri Lankan doctors worked tirelessly under immense pressure and personal risk. The GMOA played a key role in advocacy, coordinating ethical medical practice and patient-centered care. As we celebrate 100 years, however, it is also important to recognize that the health system itself is changing rapidly. Sri Lanka today faces a different set of healthcare challenges compared to a century ago. Non-communicable diseases, mental health concerns, aging populations, emerging infections, technological transformations, migration of healthcare workers, and economical instability places enormous pressure on this system. At the same time, public expectations of the healthcare continues to rise. Therefore, the role of the GMOA in the next century must also evolve to meet those expectations. The future GMOA will continue to be a strong advocate for free healthcare while embracing innovation, evidence-based policy, digital health transformations, interdisciplinary collaboration, and sustainable workforce development. Further, it will become an even stronger platform for young doctors, researchers, academics, and public health leaders. GMOA will actively contribute toward building a healthcare system that is not only efficient but compassionate, not only technologically advanced but equitable, not only curative and preventive but community-oriented. Most importantly, GMOA shall continue to remain the trust of the people, because ultimately the strength of any professional organization lies in the unity and capability of its membership, as well as the confidence placed upon it by society. As we honor the pioneer who built this association over the past 100 years, we must also remember the countless doctors who served quietly and selflessly in crowded wards, rural hospitals, emergency units, clinics, public health institutions, often without recognition but with unwavering dedication. Their commitment built the reputation of Sri Lankan health system. Their sacrifices built the legacy of the GMOA. Ladies and gentlemen, a century celebration is not only a moment of pride. It is also a moment of responsibility. The next generation will judge us not by how proudly we celebrated our history, but by how courageously we prepare for the future. May the GMOA continue to stand as an inspiration for professionalism, integrity, scientific thinking, and social justice. May it continue to defend the principles of equity and humanity that define healthcare in Sri Lanka. And may the next 100 years bring even greater service to the members, the nation, and its people. Thank you. Sambhavya Amuttani. Garu Sambhavya Amuttani and Mahitawat Sieluma Vaidurni. මෙම සියවස් සමරුම හුදෙක් අප ආඩම්බරයෙන් සහ අභිමානයෙන් සමරන මොහොතක් පමණක් නොව. එය අපගේ යුතුයකම සහ වගකීම සිහිගන්වන මොහොතක්. ඊළඟ පරම්පරාව අප විනිශ්චය කරන්නේ අප කෙතරම් ආඩම්බරයෙන් ඉතිහාසය සැමරුවාද යන්න මත නොව, ධෛර්යමත්ව සහ දූරදර්ශීව අප කෙතරම් අනාගතයට සූදානම්ද යන වග මතයි. වෘත්තීය ගරුත්වය, ස්ථායීතාව, විද්‍යාත්මක චින්තනය සහ සමාජ සාධාරණත්වය උදෙසා හෙට දවසේත් රජයේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ සංගමය පෙනී සිටිනු ඇත. එපරිද්දෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාවේ සමානාත්මතාවය සහ මානුෂිකත්වය වෙනුවෙන් ඒ ආරක්ෂා කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් රජයේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ සංගමය හෙට දවසේත් කැප වෙනු ඇත. එළඹෙන සියවසේත් එහි සමාජිකත්වයට, රටට සහ ජනතාවට වඩා යහපත් වූ සේවාවක් අඛණ්ඩව සැපයීමට රජයේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ සංගමයට හැකි වේවා යන්න ඔබේත් මගේත් පැතුමයි. ස්තුතියි.
වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රභාත් සුගතදාස රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ ලේකම්තුමාට ස්තුතියි.
As we come to the conclusion of our celebration, to propose the vote of thanks, I would like to respectfully invite Dr. Shamil Vijay, the Assistant Secretary of the Government Medical Officers Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Shamil Vijay.
Good evening, distinguished guests and everyone gathering here today. Tonight, we are celebrating 100 years of Government Medical Officers Association. We celebrate a century, 100 years. Let that sink into our minds. As I rise to deliver the vote of thanks at this historic gathering, I do so as someone deeply humbled to witness this extraordinary moment in the history of medical profession as well as the history of Sri Lanka. From a modest beginning in 1926, GMOA evolved into one of the most influential and strongest professional organizations in Sri Lanka and also in Southeast Asia. What began as a gathering of doctors in 1926 became the voice of an entire healthcare system, an entire nation, and a wave of courage for more than 23,000 doctors today. Through epidemics, pandemics, natural disasters, civil war, economic crisis, and national emergencies, generations of Sri Lankan doctors continued to serve this nation with courage and sacrifice. And tonight, standing on this podium, when I look around this audience, I see not only guests, I see the history of healthcare system of Sri Lanka itself. World Health Organization representative to Sri Lanka, Dr. Rajesh Sambajirao Pandav, thank you for joining us this evening and for recognizing the vital role played by healthcare professionals and GMOA in shaping a more healthy nation. We are deeply honored by the presence of distinguished former national leaders, former presidents, members of parliaments, party leaders, political party representatives, former health ministers, university vice chancellors, deans of medical faculties, representatives of Sri Lanka Medical Council, Sri Lanka Medical Association, Postgraduate Institute of Medicine, World Health Organization, diplomatic missions, and leaders of professional trade unions across Sri Lanka. Your presence transformed this celebration into something far greater than an anniversary event. It became a national movement. Yes, it became a national movement because of all of you. Special thanks goes to Dr. Palitha Mahipala, former Secretary to the Ministry of Health, for delivering the keynote speech and recognizing the GMOA's historic contribution and service to the healthcare system of Sri Lanka. And also, I would like to thank Professor Vajira Disanayaka, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, for his appreciative words in recognition of the service of Government Medical Officers Association to the healthcare system and also to the citizens of this country. I also wish to remember and honor the pioneers of this association, the generations of doctors who protected free healthcare long before our generations inherited it. And also the generations of doctors who protected this organization, Government Medical Association, long before us, we all inherited it. Doctors who worked without recognition, doctors who served in difficult times, doctors who built trust between profession and the people, doctors who went beyond their capacity. Their legacy is the reason why we are here today. standing proudly with our heads held high. And to the doctors of Sri Lanka, the consultants, the administrative grade medical officers, the grade medical officers, and our young doctors, the intern medical officers, and every exhausted member working right now throughout the country. This centenary belongs to you too, because the future of GMOA will not be written only in policy documents or in conference halls. It will be written in compassion you show patients every day. I must also sincerely thank Government Medical Officers Association Executive Committee and the General Committee, and also every member of the organizing committee, every volunteer, media institutions, sponsors, technical staff members, and especially the highly committed, never exhausting Government Medical Officers Association staff members, and everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes at short notice to make this event possible today. සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තනි ආදරණීය වෛද්‍යවරුනි ඉතිහාසයේ දුෂ්කරම කාල සීමාවන් වලදී රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය කියන්නේ මේ රටේ වෛද්‍යවරුන් කියන්නේ නොසැලී හැම මොහොතකම මේ රටේ නිදහස් සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාව ආරක්ෂා කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් සහ මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ ජීවත් වීමේ අයිතිය ආරක්ෂා කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් Tamanගේ යුතුයකම ඉටු කරන ලද සංවිධානයක් සහ පුරවැසියන් පිරිසක්. මෙරට වෛද්‍යවරයෙක් සමග ගනුදෙනු කරන ලද පිරිස් බොහෝමයි. හැබැයි අපි ඇහුවොත් මෙරටේ පුරවැසියන්ගෙන් වෛද්‍යවරුන් සමග කතා බහ නොකළ ගනුදෙනු නොකළ පුරවැසියෙක් සිටීද කියලා. ඒක හරියට අර නොමල ගේකින් අබ මිටක් හොයනවා වගේ. ඒ තුල ලැබෙන පණිවිඩය තමයි මෙරට හැම පුරවැසියෙක්ම වෛද්‍යවරයෙක් සමග තමන්ගේ ජීවිතය බෙදාගත්ත වගේම තමයි රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය කියන්නේ මේ රටේ ඉතිහාසයේ පුරා සමස්ත පුරවැසියන්ගේ ජීවිතවල කොටසක් බවට පත් වෙලා තිබුණා. එනිසා මේ රටේ පුරවැසියන් වෙනුවෙන් මේ රටේ අනාගතය වෙනුවෙන් රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය තමන්ගේ ඓතිහාසික වගකීම ඉටු කිරීමට ඉදිරියටත් සූදානම්. රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය වසර 100ක් සපුරන මේ මොහොතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුල මෙන්ම දකුණු ආසියාව තුලත් ශක්තිමත්ම වෘත්තීය සංවිධානයක් සහ වෘත්තීය සමිතියක් ලෙස Tamanගේ අභිමානනීය සේවස් සැමරුම සපුරන මේ මොහොතේ අපි වැඩියෙන්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕන පිරිස තමයි මේ තැනට රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ ඔසවා තබන ලද රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ සමස්ත සමාජිකත්වය. ගෙවුණු වසර 100ක කාලය පුරාවටම සභාපතිවරුන්, ලේකම්වරුන්, විධායක කමිටු සමාජිකයින්, මධ්‍යම කාර්යක සභිකයින් ඇතුළු සමස්ත සමාජිකත්වයට මේ මොහොතේදී අපේ ගෞරවනීය ස්තුතිය හිමි වෙනවා. ඒ රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය වසර 100ක් සපුරන්නේ ඔබ නිසා. එමෙන්ම මේ ශතවර්ෂයක කාලය පුරාවටම අපිව විශ්වාස කරපු, අපිත් සමග ගනුදෙනු කරපු මේ රටේ සමස්ත පුරවැසියන්ටත් ඒ ගෞරවනීය ස්තුතිය මේ මොහොතේදී අපි පුදු කරනු ලබනවා. අපි අවසානයේ එක් පණිවිඩයක් ලබා දෙනවා. කුමන දුෂ්කරතා පැමිණියත්, කුමන අභියෝග වලට මුහුණ දුන්නත්, එළඹෙන ශතවර්ෂයේ පුරාවටත් ඉන් ඔබටත් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය නිදහස් සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාව සුරක්ෂිත කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් එවැගේම වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තියේ අනාගතය සහ ගුණාත්මක භාවය සුරක්ෂිත කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය පුරවැසියන්ගේ ජීවත් වීමේ අයිතිය ආරක්ෂා කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයේ විදිහට අපි සෑම දෙනා අපේ ඒ ඓතිහාසික වගකීම ඉටු කිරීමට තවත් ශක්තිමත්ව සූදානමින් සිටිනවා. ඔබ සියලුම දෙනාට බොහොමත්ම ස්තුතියි. සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chamil Vijay Singha. A century of healing a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the GMOA is an organization with doctors from across the country, and the membership itself, over 23,000 itself, shows the strong presence of GMOA in Sri Lanka and the presence of doctors from across the country. So as you know, just like the number of members, this healthcare, the free healthcare in Sri Lanka, the medicine, the education, the medical education, and maintaining its standards, quality in healthcare, all of these are backed, all of these are supported highly by the GMOA. And of course, especially given that Sri Lanka has been famous for having free healthcare as well. So today, we celebrate this very special organization, the GMOA, who has been serving for over 100 years with all of these doctors in its base.
දයක් සුවපත් කළ සියවසක්. අපි ආරම්භයේ සඳහන් කළා වගේ 1926 වෛද්‍යවරුන් 16 දෙනෙකුගෙන් නුවරින් ආරම්භ කරලා දැනට වෛද්‍යවරුන් 23000කට වැඩි සමාජිකත්වයක් සහිත රටේ තිබෙන බලපෑම් සහගත වෘත්තීය සමිතියක්. ඒ බලපෑම් සහගත ගමන තුළ Tamanට පැවරුණු කාර්යභාරය ඉටු කරන්නේ වෛද්‍ය වෘත්තීය ශක්තිමත් කරන්න, වෛද්‍ය අධ්‍යාපනයේ ප්‍රමිතිය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න, රෝගී සත්කාරක සේවාවල ගුණාත්මක භාවය රැකගන්න වගේම රට තුළ ඇති නිදහස් සෞඛ්‍ය තවදුරටත් ශක්තිමත් කරමින් ඊට මඟ පාදමින් ඉදිරියට යන්න. ඒ අනුව සියවසක් පැමිණ තව දිගුදුරක් යන්න මේ සියවස් සැමරුම හේතුවක් කරගත්තා සේම තවත් ඊට වඩා දිගු කාලයක් වෙනුවෙන් Tamanට පැවරුණු පවරාගත් වගකීම වගවීමෙන් ඉටු කරන්න ශක්තිය රාජ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමයට ජවය ලැබේවායි අපි අවසාන වශයෙන් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමු.
Wishing all the very best of luck to the GMOA, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this very special occasion, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you once again.